Hey babes, welcome back. Today we are going back to the drugstore and taking a look at the Revlon Glaze Sticks and Velour Stick eyeshadows. Now we have 6 shades here in Singapore at $16.90 each, and you have 3 mattes which are called the Velour Sticks and 3 shimmers or pearls which are called the Glaze Sticks. These are all part of the Color Stay line, so I'm expecting crease resistance and long wear. Now the packaging is double-ended with the shadow stick on one end and the smudging or blending sponge on the other. Now I do remember Revlon having those cream eyeshadow pots that people like to use as bases. They were very similar to MAC paint pots and also Maybelline Color Tattoos. I'm not sure if these eyeshadow sticks are meant to be a replacement for those eyeshadow pots, but I have not seen those for a while. I'll say most of the time you do get better value with a pot shadow because there's so much product in there, but if you're not a makeup artist, a lot of times you just never manage to finish those up very quickly and they tend to dry out in there. I personally just prefer stick shadows because they're portable, you don't have to dig your fingers in there or use a brush to apply these, and ultimately there's not an overload of product that I will never finish up. Now, shade number 1 is 871 Luster. This is a slightly cooler toned champagne beige with rather large particles of silver in there. So as you blend it on, you'll find little glimmering specks. If you blend it out or tap it out with a finger or a brush, more of the flecks will become visible. I think this is a nice fun lit shade for pale to medium skin tones or a nice highlight shade if you have deeper complexions, but you have to like sparkle. Now 872 Gilt is a beautiful biscuity, wheaty bronze. It's a more interesting alternative to a My Lids but better kind of color. You can wear it daily with a little bit of black eyeliner or just mascara, and it will also look good with any kind of lip color. I do find this shade to be much smoother and finer grained than 871. And this would also make a great long-wearing base for any neutral metallic eyeshadow look. Now 874 Rosé is one of those duochrome plummy browns with a blue sparkly shift. It reminds me of one of my favorite caviar stick eyeshadows from Laura Mercier. Of course, this one is half the price. If you want quick impact and a soft smoky eye that has a duochrome shift that people are going to ask you about, this is a nice shade to pick up. Quick reminder though, because this has that plummy reddy undertone to it, if you are wearing this around the bottom lash line as well, do wear a little black eyeliner or black mascara just to reinforce your lash line, and make sure that you wear quite a bit of concealer to even out your skin tone. Otherwise, this is the kind of shade that can bring out discolorations around the eyes. Now 881 Sierra is the most amazing red clay type of matte shade. Similar to the Makeup Forever Aqua Sticks, which I swatched a while ago. They go on so dry right from the start that you really need to work fast to just blend and sheer the edges out. I do have to say though, this is the most amazing terracotta color. It's a little bit of work to get it on, but if you can manage to get it on evenly, it makes the most amazing smoky eye. Now 879 Truffle is a really dark chocolatey taupe, and this was definitely a little bit trickier to blend, especially if you want to do quite a strong smoky eye. Now, I'm pretty sure this is a great shade if you are going to be layering powder shadows on top of it, but on its own you will need to work really quick and you really need to blend and blend and blend. This is where I found the sponge tip at the end to be quite a useful tool. Not so much for blending and smudging things out, but more almost like an eraser to remove bits that I didn't like. I would suggest that if you like this color, not to do an overly complicated look with it. This would look really great though, smudged just around the lash line as a smoky, lash enhancing eyeliner look. Now 880 Cordovan is a strange one. This purpley plummy aubergine shade is quite easy to blend on quickly as a light sheer layer. However, unlike the other two matte velour shades, if you try to build this up, it actually starts to get patchier. So I did have quite a bit of trouble trying to build up intensity around the lash line or when I was trying to shape this into a wing. If you're using it just as a base for powder shadows, then of course that's not too much of a problem. Otherwise, I would say try to stick with a light, sheer, plummy coat. Of course, I wouldn't be me if I didn't try to layer one of the metallic shades on top of the matte, and it just so happens that 874 Rosé works gorgeously on top of this deep plummy purple, and it helps to cover up any of the patchiness instantly. I've worn these out a couple of times already, and I would say that all of the pearls layer beautifully and they work well on top of the mattes as well. If you want to layer the mattes on top of one another, that's where it gets a little bit tricky, because as you've seen with a couple of these shades, they sort of just cake up when you try to layer on more product. Obviously, these have great lasting power, and I did find the mattes to be much more tenacious and also a little bit harder to remove than the shimmers. I can't say these are a dupe for the Laura Mercier Caviar Sticks or the Makeup Forever Aqua Sticks. I mean, those do have a much finer grained texture and also finer grained pigments. However, these are also half the price. If you're a beginner and you just want a quick stick shadow you can just blend on in a single shade, smudge a little bit and go, then definitely stick with the shimmer shades. The mattes definitely require quite a bit more finessing, so I would say avoid these if you are a complete beginner, but if you are just using these in a very light layer as a base for your powder shadows, then they would work fine. But it would still take a little bit of time and effort to just blend it out and make sure nothing's looking patchy. Having said all that, if you have very oily lids, then I would say the mattes definitely cling on and are a little bit more crease resistant than the pearl ones. Not that the pearls have poor lasting power or anything like that, they just aren't going to cling quite as well as, like Makeup Forever Aqua Sticks. So if you are very prone to oiliness and creasing around the lids, you may find that these will still crease a bit by the end of the day. Of course, you can set these with a tiny bit of translucent loose powder just to lock everything on, but that also destroys a little bit of the sheen if you're using one of the pearl shades. If I have to pick favorites, I would definitely say the first one is 874 Rosé, which is this beautiful, reddy, plummy brown with blue shift. And despite the fact that it's a little bit tricky to work with, 881 Sierra is just the most amazing terracotta color. I haven't come across this sort of color in the drugstore, and definitely not in stick shadow form, because you get that really opaque and dramatic clay red eye. And that's it for today's video. Please stay safe, and I will see you again soon.